Hello, and welcome to Budget Commander. On this channel, we'll discuss Magic the Gathering topics with a focus on playing Commander on a budget. We'll cover things like deck building, top cards, deck techs, and more. Let's get started. Hey friends, today we have a Gahiji Honored 1 deck tech for you. This deck is an Enchantment Matters deck, so we're trying to get lots of triggers off of enchantments, but it also wants to encourage our opponents to attack each other. This is a budget build, specifically 2DH, meaning all the cards in the deck are $2 or less, and the commander is $5 or less. At the time of recording, this deck costs $39 to build. Starting off with accelerants, we have Wayfarer's Bauble and Rampant Growth, which get us extra lands to the battlefield. Mind Stone, which can tap for mana, as well we can sacrifice it to draw a card. Gruul Signet, Boros Cluestone, and Gruul Cluestone all allow us to tap for mana. The Cluestones we can also sacrifice to draw extra cards. Dromoka's Monument, we can tap for mana, but also later in the game for 6 mana we can turn it into a 4/4 artifact creature with flying. Yavimaya Elder helps us fix our mana so we can get 2 lands when he dies. We can also pay 2 to sacrifice him and draw a card. And we have Fertile Ground, which we can attach to a land, helping us add additional mana. Dawn's Reflection also attaches to a land and taps for additional mana. Elemental Resonance, we can tap to anything and it's just going to give us mana on our first main phase. Herald of the Pantheon is a cost reducer, making our enchantments cost 1 less, and we also gain a life each time we cast an enchantment. Mana Bloom costs us 1 and an X. You're usually actually going to want to pay this for just 1, where X is equal to 1, so that it gets returned back to your hand when it has no more counters. So it enters with X counters, so you pay it for 1X. It enters with 1 counter on it, a charge counter, and then you can remove that charge counter to activate its ability of adding a mana to your mana pool, and then return it to your hand. And then the next turn you can play another enchantment and get all your enchantment triggers again. Vessel of Nascency allows you to sack it, put 4 in the top 4 of your library in your graveyard, and then you can get an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker from among those cards back into your hand. Commune with the Gods does the same thing, but it does 5 cards to your graveyard, and you get a creature or enchantment from among them into your hand. Revive gets you any green card back from your graveyard to your hand. Reviving Melody gets you a creature and an enchantment from your graveyard back to your hand. And Hymn of Rebirth, which is a green-white card that has a very black-esque ability, allows you to put any creature from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Monk, Idealist, and Auramancer allow you to get enchantments back from your graveyard. Plea for Guidance allows you to tutor up 2 enchantments from your library to your hand. And then Sigil of the Empty Throne, Mesa Enchantress, and Eidolon of Blossoms all get triggers when you cast an enchantment. Sigil of the Empty Throne gives you a 4/4 angel creature token with flying, and then the Enchantress and Eidolon allow you to draw cards. We're going to control our opponents by playing enchantments that lock them down. So Chain to the Rocks can lock down any creature until it leaves the battlefield. Lignify turns a creature into a 0/4 with no abilities. And Prison Term makes it so a creature can't attack, block, or activate any of its abilities. We also have the ability to move Prison Term. If a more threatening creature enters the battlefield, we can take it off of the creature it's attached to and move it to something that's worse or scarier. We are running the Vow cycle, so Vow of Duty, Vow of Lightning, and Vow of Wildness. They pump a creature up so we can cast it on our own creatures, and it can give that creature some kind of a buff. +2/+2, Vigilance, First Strike, +3/+3, Trample. But we're more likely going to put it on our opponent's creatures because the creature that it's attached to can't attack us or a planeswalker we control. So this will encourage our opponents to attack each other with their pumped up creatures. And they can't get us, so added bonus there. We also have Crib Swap, which can exile any creature, turning it into a 1/1 shapeshifter. Seal of Cleansing and Reclamation Sage both get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Banishing Light and Oblivion Ring can get rid of anything we need them to, and then Steel Hellkite, assuming we can get combat damage in on a player and pay the cost, can also remove any or multiple permanents for us. We're going to prevent damage to ourselves, which will further deter opponents. Like, oh, that guy keeps preventing combat damage. I'm just going to swing at somebody else and make it worth my while. We're going to prevent damage with Fog, Respite, and Riot Control. Both Respite and Riot Control are going to help gain us life. We also are going to reflect the damage back to our opponents with Deflecting Palm, Mirror Strike, and Reflect damage. So prevent damage from something and then deal that damage back to its controller. We're also going to prevent damage with Spore Cloud and Righteous Aura. We can just pay 2 life and prevent damage of a big thing to us or something that's just more than 2. And Assault Suit, which is going to allow us to give one of our creatures to an opponent so that they can attack another opponent with it, hopefully reducing people's life totals. We're going to add to the chaos by forcing people to attack, making it so their creatures can't block, or forcing the creatures to block. Total War makes it so that if you're going to attack, all of your creatures have to attack unless you want them destroyed, assuming you're not running walls. Bedlam makes it so creatures just can't block. And then Grand Melee makes it so that all creatures have to attack, and all creatures have to block if they're able to. We're going to pump up our creatures with Ghostblade Eidolon and Boon Satyr. These are both enchantments, so they can bestow on a creature, giving them some kind of a buff, but they also trigger our enchantment cards, which will draw us cards or give us angels, or with the case of Celestial Ancient, it's going to give our entire team +1/+1 counters. So it's a 3/3 flyer that whenever we cast an enchantment, we get to put a counter on all of our creatures. Gets out of hand real fast if you can't get rid of that. We're going to protect our team with Soul of New Phyrexia, which can give all of our permanents indestructible until end of turn. Faith's Reward's going to put all the stuff that went to the graveyard back on the battlefield. And then Angelic Renewal just sits on the battlefield and essentially gives our entire team, or one creature on our entire team, regenerate as whenever we decide to use its ability. Utility cards, we have Faith Healer. This just allows us to sack an enchantment to gain life. If that enchantment's going to get destroyed, we can just sack it and then we don't get a total loss out of it. Aegis of the Gods makes it so we have hexproof. And then Warmonger Hellkite also adds to the chaos by forcing all creatures to attack each combat if able. But it also allows us to buff up our team, giving all attacking creatures +1/+0. We could also use this to aid one of our opponents, or as a political tool, giving an opponent's creatures +1/+0, helping them finish off another player, or give a creature enough of a buff to destroy a creature we don't like, or possibly force them to trade. So great creature there. Last one, Dawn Charm. This one gives us a lot of utility. We can either use it to prevent all combat damage to us, regenerate one of our creatures, or counter a spell that targets us. We're running 12 forests, 11 plains, and 2 mountains. We have Drifting Meadow and Secluded Steppe, which allow us to cycle them to draw cards. Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, Krosan Verge, we can all sack them to fetch more lands out of our deck. Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse help us to fix our colors. Command Tower, Vivid Meadow, give us any color we need. Temple of Triumph, give us red and white, and allow us to scry when it enters the battlefield. Then we have Blossoming Sands, Rugged Highlands, Wind-Scarred Crag, which all enter and gain us a life, and give us 2 of the colors we need when they enter. Unfortunately, they enter tapped. And the Guildgate cycle, so Boros, Gruul, and Selesnya Guildgates, which all enter tapped, but give us 2 of our colors. And the last land we have is Slayers Stronghold, which can tap to give us a colorless, but more importantly, we can use it to pay white and red, give a creature we control +2/+0, vigilance, and haste, which is really nice. Actually, we can use it on our opponent's creatures too, so just like the Hellkite earlier, we can use it as a political tool or to help us help our opponents finish off our other opponents. Stats for the deck. This deck got 4 stars for acceleration as it was running 13 accelerants. It had 12 cards that provided consistency, giving it 1 star in that category. 14 cards that provide control, giving it 2 stars in that category. And then for speed, it got 5 stars as the average converted mana cost was 1.9, including lands. If you're into chaos and like having all the creatures attack each turn if able, and just seeing how the game turns out, this deck might be for you. Give it a whirl. Let me know how it goes, and also if you think there's cards missing from this deck, let me know what cards you would take out and what you would swap in for them. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace! Thanks for watching. You can help support this channel by hitting that subscribe button. This will help keep you up to date on content from Budget Commander. If you liked the video, make sure you like the video. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on this topic. And if you think someone else could benefit from this video, feel free to share. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk with you next time.